May I come in?
Yes, please.
Hi.
Hi, please have a seat.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Raviraj, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for taking your time to meet us today. So, I am the HR manager, and he is your department supervisor.
Hello. Hello.
We're excited to get to know you better and learn about your experiences and qualifications. I'm sure you got your resume with you.
Yeah,
Can I have a look?
sure.
Thank you. Interesting. So, this interview is for HR administration role at Hendrickson, and we'll be asking about a series of structured and behavioral questions. These questions are designed to assess your fit for the role and organization. If you need anything, just let us know.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's begin. Can you start by telling us about yourself and what attracted you to this HR administration role at Hendrickson?
Sure. I graduated with a diploma in human resource and have working as an administrative assistant for 2 years. I support HR functions like onboarding, attendance tracking, and basic payroll prep. What excites me about Hendrickson is the opportunity to support multiple departments. Given exposure to HR operations and contribute to employee engagement activities, I, I am someone who thrives on structure, efficiency, and collaboration, which align with the role perfectly.
Thanks for saying that. It's great to hear how your experience and interests align with what we're looking for. I appreciate the enthusiasm you bring to the HR side of things. Going for the second question, what do you understand to be the core responsibilities of this position?
This position is a key support role for both HR department and other teams like customer service and accounting. The responsibilities include managing HR documentation, handling onboarding, processing payroll and attendance updates, organizing events, managing communication materials, and ensuring general office administration runs smoothly. It's a mix of people facing and process driven tasks, which makes it a well rounded role.
That's a strong overview. You've captured the mix of admin and HR support really well. It's great to see you've done your research.
Thanks.
How do you prioritize tasks when you're supporting several departments at once?
I start each day by reviewing my task list and organize it by urgency and deadlines. I use time blocking in Outlook and keep a running to do list that includes both recurring and ad hoc tasks. I also communicate with team leads if I ever need to adjust priorities or timelines. Being proactive helps avoids bottlenecks and I always build time for unexpected requests.
That sounds like a solid system. Being proactive and keeping lines of communication open is exactly what helps in the role like this. Why don't you tell me about your experience using administrative or HR software tools?
I have worked extensively with Microsoft Office. I use Excel for tracking vacations and payroll summaries, Word for documentation, and Outlook for scheduling and communication. I have also used priority HR platforms like Bamboo HR. While I haven't used AS4 and especially, I'm confident I will be able to learn the system with training.
Good to hear. Comfort with office tools and adaptability with new systems are both very important in this role. So, how do you ensure accuracy in your work, especially when handling sensitive documents or reports?
I have a checklist based approach for all sensitive tasks. For example, when submitting a payroll, I double check data entries against time logs and manager approvals. I always proofread documents before sending and take short breaks before final reviews to ensure I am not overlooking details. I also save histories in case changes need to be tracked.
That's a great approach. Attention to detail and being methodical really help prevent errors when working with confidential data.
Sure,
Don't you
yes.
agree? Tell me about a time when you had to plan and organize an important event or project at work.
At my previous job, I planned a new hire orientation program for 5 employees starting on the same week. I created a detailed agenda, booked conference spaces, arranged time introductions, coordinated IT staff setups, and prepared handbooks. When one speaker cancelled, I quickly found a substitute and rescheduled. I used a project checklist in Excel and calendar invites in Outlook. Everything went smoothly and the employees felt welcomed and informed.
That sounds like a lot to coordinate, and it's great that you handle the curveball with speaker professionally. Organizing clearly comes naturally to you.
Mhm.
So, for the next situational question, describe a time when you had to explain a complex policy or process to an employee, such as the policies or how you present it, or if you confirmed about the understanding or not.
I explained our vacation accrual policy to new employees who was confused about how their hours were calculated. I created a visual examples using their own schedules, walked them through the steps and followed up with the summary emails. I encouraged them to ask questions and asked them to repeat the policy back. This ensured they understood it thoroughly.
Well, you handled that really thoughtfully. I like how you used multiple ways to make sure the employee fully understood. That kind of clarity is valuable in HR. Would you be able to give me an example of a time you were responsible for handling sensitive information like payroll or attendance records?
Once I was responsible for tracking and reporting weekly attendance in my previous role. I collected timesheets, confirmed them with managers, and updated a payroll summary file. To maintain confidentiality, I restricted access to the file, used password protection, and filed paper documents in locked cabinets. I also double checked each entry before sending to HR.
Well, it's clear that your confidentiality and precision are important to you. That level of care is exactly what we're looking for in this role. Moving forward, what step do you take to stay organized during busy periods?
I plan my day in a time block and assign tasks based on the urgency. As I mentioned earlier, I use both digital planner and sticky notes for visual tracking. I also set aside time each Friday to prepare for the next week and adjust as needed. Staying ahead of deadlines gives me flexibility when new tasks pop up.
Time blocking and regular check-ins are a great habit. That's awesome. It shows you're structured but flexible when needed, right? So, how do you communicate with employees who have different learning or communication styles?
I try to get a sense of what works best for each person. Some prefer emails, other needs phone calls. If I see someone struggling, I offer to walk them through the process, in person or with the step-by-step visuals. I also ask for feedbacks to make future communication better.
So, sounds like you have done solid hands-on experience. Being detail-oriented with payroll processes is something we highly value.
Yeah.
What would you do if you noticed a mistake in an employee's attendance record right before payroll is processed?
I would cross-check with the department supervisor and correct the record as quickly as possible. If payroll had already started, I would flag the correction to HR immediately and work with them to fix it before the payments was finalized.
Quick thinking and following up right away.
Yeah.
Nice. That's exactly the kind of dependability we appreciate. How would you handle a situation where multiple departments are requesting your help at the same time?
I would assess the urgency of each request and calmly focus on if they all are time sensitive, and I would let each department know what I can, when can I complete their task and see if the timelines can be adjusted. I would also notify my managers to ensure alignment.
That's a great approach. Prioritizing and setting expectations clearly helps avoid miscommunication down the line. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
What role do you think HR plays in creating a positive workplace culture?
So HR plays a very big role in employees' engagement and culture. Through onboarding, communication, recognition programs, HR helps employees feel supported and connected. HR presence builds trust and morale in between the employees and the employer.
Absolutely. HR has a big impact, and it's clear you understand how everyday action contribute to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So, what kind of working environment helps you do your best?
I do best in a structured environment, respectful environment where communication is open and teamwork is encouraged. I appreciate clarity in expectations and a room for growth.
That sounds like a good match for our team environment here. We also value open communication and collaboration. Have you ever improved an administrative or HR process?
Yeah, I once redesigned the filing system for employee records. I introduced color coding and digital backups, which save time when retrieving documents and reduced errors.
Nice. Simple process improvements can really solve time and reduce stress. Thanks for sharing that example. How do you stay current in HR policies and employment law changes?
So I have subscribed to newsletters like HR reports and follow updates from the Ontario governments. I also attend webinars when I can learn from my senior manager.
Well, that's excellent. Staying updated is key in HR, and it's great that you take initiative to keep learning.
Mm.
Uh, can you tell me about a time when you felt especially proud of a task or project you completed at work?
One of my proudest moments was when I organized my company's first employee appreciation week. I coordinated daily events, recognition emails, and small surprise like coffee and thank you notes. It took a lot of planning, but seeing how appreciated the staff felt made it worth every second. I love being part of something that brings people together.
hmm I can see why that stood out to you. It's moments like those that create real connection to work.
Yeah, sure, it does.
Describe a time when you had to handle something completely outside your comfort zone. How did you manage it?
So, once I was asked to help prepare data for external audit. I would never worked audits before, so I felt nervous about making a mistakes. I asked few clarifying questions, logged through past reports, and double checked everything before submission. I ended up learning a lot, and it boosted my confidence.
That sounds like a valuable challenge. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
Well, you handled it with a confidence and willingness to learn. Going to the next question. What does dependability mean to you, and how do you demonstrate it at work?
To me, being dependable means people know they can count on you to do what you say you will do on time and with the care. I always show up early, follow through on commitments, and keep others informed. It builds trust, which I think is especially important in HR.
That's a great way to frame it. Being someone people can rely on really sets the tone in an admin support role, don't you think?
Yeah.
Uh, how do you keep yourself motivated during repetitive or routine tasks?
I stay focused on the bigger picture. As I mentioned earlier, I make a clear to do list. I remind myself that accuracy matters because it affects someone's pay on records. I also break a long task with short mental breaks to stay sharp. It helps keep things from feeling too routine.
Awesome. So, for the next question, uh, have you ever had to deliver bad news to an employee or team member, and how did you handle it?
Yeah, during COVID, I had to help notify some employees about temporary layoffs. I made sure to explain the decisions clearly, offered reassurance, directed them to support programs. It was hard, but I tried to approach it with empathy and honesty.
Well, those conversations are never easy, right?
Yeah.
But the way you approach it shows emotional intelligence and empathy. We like that about. So, for the next question, how do you build trust with new team members or co-workers from other departments?
So the communication is most important to that. So I try to listen more than I talk at first. I know to get people's roles, what they need from me. I always follow through on my promises, stay approachable, and check in regularly to make sure things are running smoothly.
Mm-hmm. That's a great answer. So, what's the most important thing you've learned from working in an administrative or HR role?
I've learned how powerful it is to be consistent and supportive. When people know they can come to you with a question or issue and you treat them with a respect every time, it changes how they feel about you and the workplace. HR isn't just a paperwork, it's about the people.
Well, you are a people person, right?
Yeah.
That's such a powerful takeaway. HR really is about consistency and care in the little things. Uh, would you be able to describe a time when you disagreed with a policy or decision, and how did you handle it?
At my previous job, I didn't fully agree with some new attendance policies that was recently rolled out. Instead of complaining, I asked for a one-on-one with my supervisor, respectfully shared my thoughts and offered ideas for better communication. At the end, they appreciated my feedback and made small changes to it.
Well, that was a very good approach. And how would you handle confidential questions from employees when you're not sure of the answers?
First of all, is confidential is all about the information, so it has to be to the point. So I never guess it. If I don't know the answer, I thank the employee for bringing it up, let them know. I would check with the HR managers and follow up with them as soon as possible. It's important not to mislead anyone, especially when the confidentiality is involved, because it can lead to a detrimental effects.
Perfect. That kind of professional honesty keeps trust strong between HR and employees. Uh, imagine you've just started here. What would be your top priorities during your first month on the job?
I would focus on learning the system and understanding Hendrickson's culture. Spend time getting to know each department. I would support reviewing HR procedures and identifying ways to help streamline workflows. My goal would be to contribute quickly while building trust.
Well, thank you. This was the last question for the interview. Do you have any question for us?
Yeah, could you tell me more about professional development opportunities and are available for someone in this role and how it will help me to grow more?
Absolutely. At Hendrickson, we value growth. We offer on-the-job training, mentorship programs, and opportunities to attend workshops and industry conferences. We also support external certificates like CHRP if you're interested in advancing in HR.
Thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah, thank you for attending the interview today. We have to conduct interview for other shortlisted candidate. If you are a successful candidate, we will contact you. If you are not a successful candidate, also we will still update you. You have a nice day, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Here you go.